not necessarily fraud, but actions that end up diluting the shareholders. One of them is timing of exercise decisions. Basically, your payoff is a maximum of 0 and stock price at the time of the exercise minus strike, right? Outside of, you know, outside of normal times, when are some dates where there's a potential for big moves in stock prices? For example, earnings announcements. Okay. If the execs know that they will announce a bad earnings number, they can exercise their options much earlier than they would have absent that information. So you know that next week market is expecting you to announce $5 a share in earnings, and you know that it's not going to be over 3. You don't know the exact number, but you know the business has not been doing that well. And if you announce 3, your stock is going to go down from, let's say, 100 to 80. Oh, you're going to go ahead and exercise. Your stock price is exactly the same. You can sell it at 100 instead of 80 2 weeks from now when they announce the earnings. Second, earnings management. As you know, the earnings that are announced are not what we call economic earnings. They're accounting earnings. You know, earnings can be managed using accruals, which are essentially profit transfer from future. By using accruals, you can announce, you can manage earnings. There's a limit to what you can do, but you can play with depreciation methods. You can play with valuation of certain assets. You can play with accounts receivables, payables, stock options, what have you. Well, if you know that you're an executive, you know that you're planning to exercise your options. You have an incentive to announce the earnings much higher than you would have had otherwise. Again, there is nothing illegal about that. If execs know that they would exercise their options, they can delay that decision, the action after the earnings announcements, and they have an incentive to announce earnings accounting much higher. So typically when there's a positive earnings surprise, stock prices jump, right? Let's say a positive earnings surprise would lead to a 20% jump, and assume stock price without surprise would be 100, and assume a strike price of 20, which is not terribly uncommon. Remember, these are long-term stuff. Absent earnings surprise, CEO would have made $80 with the earnings surprise $100. That is robbing. Robbing is a street term. The polite term for that is diluting the existing shareholders. $20 per option. And typically these guys have a lot of options. For example, let's go to SEC again. Let's go to Tesla. 10K. I'm gonna somehow find there's a little table that shows number of outstanding options. Let me see. Okay, let me go to the document itself. Okay, this is a better table. Now, at the end of 2012, or at the beginning of 2012, there were 357,000 plus options outstanding. Okay. And the average strike price on them was $28. So let's kind of calculate how much money that would have meant for Tesla if all of them were exercisable like that. What's the current Tesla price? Remember, Elon Musk sold a lot of stocks because he exercised them. Where were you? Right now it's $200, right? So 357,000. I'm gonna say $200 at 20%. Rob. Strike 28. So amount robbed. Let's see. Well, either way, it's going to be $40. Let me see if that number is in thousands or not. Yes, it is in thousands. I thought it was. That would be robbing if all of them were exercised that way, robbing the Tesla shareholders by $14 billion. Let's see what's the market cap of Tesla. It's not what it was now. It's about 600 billion. That's 2.3% of the firm. And presumably this could happen over and over, right? So over time, those small shareholders could have been robbed close to 10 to 15% of the firm. So there is a hidden danger over there. And by the way, that is completely legal. I mean, it is one thing, it's so obvious for SVB CEO. Even there, it's going to take one really, really good prosecutor. I mean, jury would be willing to convict those guys. That's not a problem. But, getting that into a jury is going to take a really, really good prosecutor. Because these guys have pretty good lawyers. And to me, it's insider information. You knew it was coming, and you got out before everybody else did.